feel it, cause I need it now. Money is a bitch in it, I don't wanna think about it. So if you know the song, sing it, cause I need it now. Take me to a place where the music's loud. I don't wanna think right now. Flashing lights running through the crowd. I don't ever wanna stop. So let's get out, let's get out. I got money in my pocket and I'm about to fucking drop it with you now.
in line and all that. But anywho, yeah, this episode is going to be much more streamlined and corralled better than last episode. Last episode got a little bit out there and real fucking long, and yeah, not doing that this week. I am joined once again by a friend of the show, more so than you guys know. I'll talk about that in a minute. Nick from Movie Emporium. Hi, Nick.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I feel a little bit better today.
Yay!
Thank God.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I did
yeah.
notice on last week's show, you guys let us know, but Nick sounded a little bit lower than me. My voice was overpowering him, and I tend to do that to people. But so you guys let me know if his voice is a little bit too low. As far as the chat goes, I can only see YouTube. So anybody who, I know we don't get a lot on Twitch, trying to grow that as usual, but if you're over on Twitch and you chat, I'm sorry I don't see it. I'm working on that. I've been having some chat issues, but we can see you over on YouTube. Looks like Triv's here, Fright Films. Nick, you're here too. Ryan from
I'm here.
What Were You Watching? Good to see all you guys. Happy that you're all here. We got a pretty cool show for you today, I think. Not as many, as much news as last week, or not week, but as Wednesday. But we do have some pretty cool things. I cherry-picked a few things. We're going to talk about some aliens and something that kind of surprised me there. We're going to talk about Baby Yoda and Gizmo. And we're also going to be talking about, of course, Miss Marvel as a whole. I haven't really spoken on this show, but I've seen the whole show now. Nick has seen the whole show. We're going to give you our thoughts. I think, Nick, don't you have... I know you have a review for part of it. Do you have a review for the whole thing?
For which one?
Miss Marvel.
No, I don't do Disney TV show reviews because they don't like to get views on my channel. So
oh, okay. Well,
yeah. We'll leave it at that.
Gotcha. All right. Well, hey, this will be the premiere of Nick's thoughts on Miss Marvel as well. We also are going to be talking about. I'm going to go back to a story or a review that we talked about last week, and that's Resident Evil. I have watched the last 3 episodes, and I'm going to give you a few thoughts on that, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to give it, I guess, a pseudo ending explained. We're going to talk about it a little bit, so I'll warn you guys before any spoilers. And we're also we got a little bit of video game news when it comes to that stuff. I know most of my people or our people are more movie enthusiasts, so I try and keep the stuff not like super hardcore nerdy video game stuff, but I think it's things that everybody can understand. One is about some VR stuff coming up soon, some possible big news, or at least maybe I'm just hoping it is. And also, we're going to talk about some fucking idiots. Some real fucking stupid people. I'm sorry, but we got to talk about them for a minute.
No.
And no,
is that when I do this? Or wait, this? I'm with idiot.
Oh yeah. It's definitely. But so not as much as last week. We're not going to be looking at a trailer. I was thinking about looking at that Lord of the Rings trailer, but I just didn't. So we'll look at maybe a trailer again coming this Wednesday and have some other stuff. Beyond that, it's going to be pretty similar to last week's or the Wednesday show, just hopefully shorter. So, alrighty. One other thing I did want to talk about. Nick and I were talking, and we know each other pretty well, and we have a pretty good rapport. So, may not be every single week, but he is going to be becoming a more permanent fixture on the show here. I'm still going to be, or we rather, are still going to be having guests come on and things of that nature. Like next week, probably not Wednesday, but Saturday, I believe we're going to be having, hopefully, we have tentatively slotted in Triv from Trivial Theater to come on here and talk to us about an older film that some of you may have heard of but never seen. We'll see, and some other stuff. And Wednesday's still open, trying to figure that out. But I do plan on still having other guests come on regularly, because the more the merrier as we talk about this stuff. And all the stuff I said on Wednesday still applies. Going to have a lot of just new stuff as the show goes on that we're going to be adding to it, and ideas and things that work we're going to keep doing, things that don't work we'll stop, we'll get some new stuff, and that's just how these kind of shows work.
Excelente.
Yeah, thanks for filling in that gap there while I drank. I'm fucking thirsty as hell.
I try.
Okay, so not to waste you guys time anymore, I guess let's go ahead. Unless Nick, did you have anything you wanted to say before we get started?
Viva la Resistance.
Yep, that's it. There's that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm here all week, people.
He is. Okay, so let's go ahead and not waste any more time and jump right into our first story, which is Aliens. The show? Apparently Aliens, there's an Aliens, not Alien, Aliens prequel series in the works. A TV show. Yeah. Okay, so there's not a lot of information about this as of yet, but we don't even know what network or streaming service or what it's coming to, but there is reported. Let me just read a little excerpt from the whatever they call that, where you get information. The news article, sorry. This comes from Giant Freaking Robot, which I know they're I guess a reputable source. I don't frequent their site, but
they do a pretty decent job.
Yeah, okay. So decently reputable. Not a lot of info, like I said, but I really want to talk about possibly what this could mean. So Giant Freaking Robot says, according to our trusted and proven sources, the franchise is about to go back in time and set up an Aliens prequel, specifically a series about Hadley's Hope, and their doomed battle against the Xenomorphs is in the works. This new Aliens prequel will focus on the colony before the Xenomorphs show up. And also, this is not the FX Alien show that is also in the works. So when I first heard this, when I first read about this, I love Aliens, by the way. It's weird because I was just talking about Aliens. But I do not know what the hell. I don't think I necessarily want to see an Aliens prequel show, because within that canon, I mean, I guess, in this world of retconning things, they could change things. Within the canon of Aliens, the first time the aliens show up is when in the movie Aliens. They show up. That's when they show up. It's not like they were running around before. They're just eggs. They're in the ship on LV 426, which is where this takes place. It was just these people, these colonists. They're mining shit. So how interesting is, because it even says it's before the Xenomorphs show up. So what? We're going to be watching a show, some coal miner's daughter kind of show in space? I mean, what I don't know what they're going to do with this show unless they're going to start changing things and saying, oh, the Xenomorphs were running around then too and like killing people in the background or whatever. Now, if it's going to be like a mini series, maybe, like if a mini series where they kind of like work up to like a 6-part miniseries, and that's it. It's a one and done, and it works up to when they get out. It shows how they got out, and they got it like Newt's family found them in the canon. That's Newt, the little girl from Aliens. Her family are the ones who found the ship, and I think an alien got on the father, and then from there, Facehugger got on the father, and from there, that's when it just wreaked havoc. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I mean, that could be interesting. Whether we need it or not, I don't know. But that could be interesting. But they're saying it's a series. I have no idea if it's a mini series or what. So what are your, just hearing this information, because that's all the info we got on it, by the way. There's nothing else. Just hearing this information, what do you think about this?
Well, I'm pretty sure you said Aliens is your favorite movie, right? One of your favorite movies?
It's definitely in my top 5. It is
top 5.
It is my I'd have to think about it. I'm gonna say, I'll just throw out there, it is probably my favorite, if definitely one of, but possibly my favorite action movie ever made. That movie is pretty damn perfect.
Yeah, it's if it weren't for like Die Hard, it'd be one of my top 5 for action. I mean, I guess it is top 5 for action, but the reason I ask, it being one of your favorite, action films as well as favorite films, what makes that movie perfect? Like, what makes that movie work is not Go. I mean, I guess I could ask you that question then, but I was curious, like, why is it? Because this is where the problem lies in with the prequel. So when it comes down to that movie and you think about it, you have Ripley going to LV 426 again.
Hmm.
All hell is broken loose, so on and so forth. Excuse me. The thing about that makes it work is you know nothing about what's happening. You know that something happened there before. We've been there before, but the mystery of what happened, the fact that they don't find out until about 30 to 40 minutes into the movie. If you create a prequel to that and you show that as a miniseries, you throw all that mystique out the window. You're creating this idea of like, oh, here's Hadley's Hope, or is it Hadley's Hope? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Hadley's
Is
Hope.
that the name?
That's the name of
Okay,
the town, space town, whatever.
right. But you're getting rid of all that mystique. You now seeing the aliens. Before it's like I can't remember what movie did that where you saw like it's like the whole prequel thing for Star Wars. You get rid of all the mystery and all the intrigue by just giving everything that happened, and it just I don't know if I like that. I mean, it also depends on who would do the like the showrunner and the creators and the directors and stuff like that. I mean, it could be a cool show, but it's just like
Yeah.
when you watch Aliens and you see the Marines getting to the nest of the aliens, and they're officially just kind of bombarded by all these aliens and eggs and people floating out of chests, stuff like that, and it takes away that mystique and intrigue about what makes aliens so cool. And it just I don't know, unless James Cameron's like, I'm gonna fucking do this. I don't know, I don't really like that idea. I'm kind of mixed on it. If it were like, it's like when they did Prometheus and when they did like that other alien whatever movie that Ridley Scott did, it took away the mystique of the whole
Covenant.
idea. And yeah, Alien Covenant, thank you. I mean, it's cool to see like the engineers and stuff like that, but it takes away the whole mystique of Ridley Scott's original movie. And I don't know, doing prequel stuff like that, it just sometimes it doesn't work for me.
Oh, sure. I mean, I'm of two minds because I'm with you. Sometimes we get prequel stuff that's just like it takes away from it. It actually, you're giving me too
Yeah.
much. I didn't need all that explanation. We don't need to see it. I'm trying to think of one that comes to mind. Star Wars I was okay with because there was a lot of lore there. I mean, the execution of the prequels is debatable depending on who you are, but when it comes to Hadley's Hope and Aliens, that situation that happened with them, there could be, because there was, when you get there, you're right, you get there, and obviously, especially nowadays, most people that go into Aliens, I think they know what they're getting into to a degree. The aliens came. We obviously, you can tell when you get there, there's just like something bad happened. There was a battle, a last stand, and all that. To see that last stand could be cool. It could be, but man, I think that they could really screw it up too. And is there enough story there? I guess there could be. Like you said, it depends on who's involved. I don't think James Cameron's involved. He hasn't been involved in Aliens since Aliens.
Yeah.
He did write it and everything, but he didn't like own it like he did Terminator or anything. So he has no. I'm pretty sure he has no involvement in it whatsoever. We would have heard that if he did. Plus, he's working on Avatar for the next 20 years until his death. But so no, he's not going to be there. If you get, and it's not just the people that are involved in it, but I'm more worried about one of the things that made Aliens great was its characters, not just Ripley. Ripley is all the characters, the good, the bad, all of them were interesting. So when something happened in that movie, like in this background here, when this alien pops up behind Newt, you're like, oh no, you have a connection to that little girl. I just hope that they don't go off of that connection from that movie and pull it into this one. Obviously, someone will be Newt in it, and she will. I don't know if she'd be the main character or not, but she'll obviously play a part. Not Carrie Henn because she's like 40 something now, but if they have characters that are interesting that we like, that we get invested in, it could be good. because that's what makes things like that when something when characters are put in danger, that's what makes them what makes it entertaining is that
Right.
you're worried, you don't want these characters you like to get hurt. But then you run into the thing with these types of prequels where you already know what's going to happen. You know that everyone there, with the exception of that little girl, is going to die. No one makes it out. So it's like, how it's hard to get connected to people when you know they have an imminent death coming just literally right around the corner. So it's hard to like surprise you when someone dies or you lose somebody because I know they're all going to die. So, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, look at Andor. Andor is going to be, it has the same issue.
Oh, that's the Star Wars. Yeah,
that's the prequel.
Rogue One prequel thing, right? Which itself.
Yeah, the one with Diego Luna. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, exactly. That one, I mean, there may be a story there too, but yeah, I'm with you. The prequel thing, especially when it has these events that, you know the ultimate fate of these characters. I love Aliens, and like the special edition of Aliens, it's longer and it does add some stuff that's not necessarily needed, but I still love it because it's more of what I love. So this will effectively be more of what I love, maybe. So I don't know. That's where I stand on it. Plus, we just don't have a lot of information on it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, can we just get a mini series of the cat? Find out what happened to the cat, because that poor cat just gets left behind.
Jonesy?
They made me cry. Yeah, Jonesy. He just gets left behind. That poor cat.
That cat lucked out over everybody. That fucking cat. Yeah. I don't think it would have survived again because it survived the first movie, but I don't think it would have made it through Aliens. So the cat lucked out. But yeah, we need the Jones prequel. Yeah, but as far as like the Aliens prequel, I mean, like I said, there's not a lot of information we have on it. I love Aliens, but there's also another Alien show in the works at FX. Now, all this stuff is overseen by Disney because Disney owns Fox, and Fox has the Alien and Predator and all that. So that's another thing that worries me too. Is this just Disney doing Disney again? I mean, they got a property, so now they're going to hone in on every little thing on it and milk it for every last fucking thing it's worth. And I really, please, don't ruin Alien and Aliens. I mean, Ridley Scott came back and, he was trying his damnedest to do that himself. So don't do it anymore. Just leave it alone. Leave it be.
I'm just waiting to see what they do with Prey.
Prey? Yeah, Prey, the
thing?
new Predator movie. Could be. That's a 50-50 one. It could be cool. It could not. I've heard good things about it. I've heard things that I'm like, oh, that's cool, and things about it that look cool, and then I've heard other things. Nothing's confirmed. I mean, we'll find out. What is it? Next month? It comes out next month, I think, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah. Anyway, that's the Alien show, or the Aliens show, and an Alien show. And one of them, the Alien show, has been in development for a while. It's coming to FX, and I no idea where this one's coming from.
So much confusion.
We're going to, so yeah, not going to confuse anybody at all. So that's where we're headed with that. But all right. So from there, we're going to move into our next story. Real quick, once again, fairly light story week, or at least on the things I want to talk about. There was some bullshit, but I didn't want to talk about bullshit. This one I found actually kind of funny, and you brought it to my attention, and then I found it. It kind of I don't know how much of a story. It's more like it's not going to go anywhere from here, but it is just interesting. It did get me to thinking, admittedly, and that is Baby Yoda a ripoff of Gizmo? Yeah, we deal with the hard-hitting stories here at the Awesome Awesome Show.
Yeah.
But basically, what this is, what the article or articles we're talking about. Let's see here. It says Joe Dante, which is the director of the Gremlins films, by the way. He said in a recent interview with the San Francisco Chronicle that he thinks Baby Groot, he meant Baby Yoda, shamelessly rips off his Gizmo lead character from his 1984 movie Gremlins. In his words, I think the longevity of Gremlins is really like. Well, I'm sorry. I think the longevity of Gremlins is really linked to this one character. They said like. I think it's supposed to be linked. Gizmo, who is essentially like a baby, Dante told SFC. Which brings me, of course, to the subject of Baby Yoda, who is completely stolen and is just out and out copied, shamelessly, I would think. Just a little bit more context from there. They were asking him, well, are you going to take legal action? He's not going to be taking legal action. He'd never. How the fuck that you wouldn't get anywhere with that. But anyway, that's a stupid question in my opinion. But I have my thoughts. I was curious as to what your thoughts on just Mr. Dante. Not necessarily him saying that. I guess that too. But what do you think about this whole thing as a whole? Do you think that Groot is a shameless ripoff of Gizmo?
No. I heard someone talk about like, they're both babies. They're both cute. Groot, Baby Yoda is a baby Yoda. Like, if we want to be absolutely, I think both characters were created by ILM or some kind of whoever does, Jim Henson Studios or something like that. It was just, it just feels like
Lucasfilm involved or ILM or Lucas was he involved?
No, I meant
Steven
like
Spielberg was Lucas involved with Gremlins at all? I think maybe.
No, I think that was I think it was more like Jim Henson or something like that was involved with Gremlins.
Okay.
I think I could be wrong. But no, I mean it's they're two fucking babies. I mean, the only thing that they have similarities are the kind of like sweet nature, the big ears, big eyes, but yeah, they're fucking puppets, they're literally fucking each other. I don't know. Maybe
Whoa, which one were you watching? I didn't see that version.
It's the new TV series coming out, Secrets of the Mogwai.
Oh my god, don't give him any ideas that could happen.
No, but in all honesty, I think Joe Dante maybe wants another like cute character in his movies, but I don't know. It's just look at that thing behind me. It's so cute.
Yeah,
look at the thing behind you. It's gonna eat. Don't feed it water. Or give it water after me.
So I read this, and okay, part of me is like, yeah, I get it. I mean, they are similar in stature. They both got big ears. They're both puppets. They're both cute little puppet creatures. They're both there to sell fucking toys, is what they are. And they're both cute. Yeah. They both have that little talking and all that. There are similarities between the two, but it's not like Gizmo was the first. I mean, he was definitely one of the first, but I don't feel like there's definite. I think that Baby Yoda, not Baby Yoda himself or Grogu, whatever his fucking name is. I think maybe I don't think the character was inspired by Gizmo, but maybe the design and the whole having this little puppet character in the show. I'm sure that it took some inspiration from Gizmo and just that whole how they did Gizmo back then. And not even so much Gizmo himself, just what Gizmo created and what they created with Gremlins, just this cute little side character that really can't act on his own and needs someone else's help. And it's just cute and there to sell toys. Sure. But do I think it's a shameless ripoff, as he said, out and out copied? No, I don't. I mean, come on, man. It's, first of all, it's what, like 35 years ago? I mean, there's 35-year difference. That doesn't mean they can't copy it, but there's been other little creatures like Gizmo throughout the years. I mean, he is not the only. He's not calling them out. He's calling out fucking Baby Yoda because it's the most popular one. Because everybody loves Baby Yoda and they're selling lots of toys. That doesn't mean that it was a blatant ripoff. I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about. I mean, what's the last thing Joe Dante did?
I think The Hole or something like that. Anyways, like, you're absolutely right about Baby Yoda, by the way. Disney's like, we need a cute character. The creators of Mandalorian is like, hey, what do we do about like a Baby Yoda? That'll sell product. And you're like,
oh, for sure.
Okay, let's go for it. I mean, that's basically what like we can argue about like Gizmo being like sellable and stuff like that as a toy, but Baby Yoda was definitely meant to. Like anything in Star Wars at this point with Disney is meant to sell products, and
Oh yeah. If Disney
Gizmo at
puts
this
it,
point is iconic. But
if Disney
yeah,
puts it
yeah,
in their
exactly.
movie, they're trying to sell you something. That's for sure. But I mean,
Yeah.
I will say that Baby Yoda worked. I mean, he yes, it's a very bankable, sellable toy, but the character they did good with the character. I thought. I mean,
Yeah.
they brought us a really interesting character, and cute and sellable at the same time. And they did the same. Gizmo's the same way. He's an interesting little guy, and he's cute and he's very sellable. I had a little Gizmo Furby back in the day. Yes, I had a Furby. It's the only Furby I ever had. Gizmo.
So
I'm sorry,
the real question remains though, if you put these two in a fight, but you had Gizmo become a gremlin, who wins?
that's what the fuck we need right there to
All right,
settle this
right.
shit. We need to, what was the
Right.
show that used to come on MTV? The Celebrity Death
Oh,
Match.
yeah.
We
yep,
need
yep,
that between Baby Yoda and Gizmo. I mean, Baby Yoda's got force powers that he's just learning, but Gizmo, he can just maybe like throw some water on himself and pop out like his sidekicks, and then they can attack, and maybe he'll get a stripe and it'll come in there, or a spike and a stripe, and they'll come in, and I don't know, man. It's kind of like a Predator versus Aliens thing. You got one who can have like a whole bunch of backup, and then you've got one who's stronger. So, I don't know. We need that. We need Celebrity Deathmatch to come back, and we need to get that.
Baby Yoda may be lovable, but Gizmo and the Gremlins fucked with Hulk Hogan in the movie theater system.
That's right.
And I'm all about that. So yeah.
That is right. And the extremely underrated but now somewhat appreciated Gremlins 2, the new batch. Which apparently,
exactly.
I remember seeing that in theaters when it came out. I got a shirt and everything. It was a bomb. But now everybody talks about how great it is. But back then they were shitting all over. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. Well, like I said, this is kind of a milquetoast story and all. But I thought it was just funny. Joe Dante. I mean, what have you been? I feel like Joe Dante is just because he was on the rise of being like the next big thing. But what the fuck have you done lately? I feel like this is just a way to get your name out there and say, hey, remember I made a movie that was really popular a long time ago. Check it out. And I don't know. Gizmo's a great character. Grogu's a great character in aesthetics and everything. I don't think that they ripped each other off at all. But yeah, that was our little milquetoast story of Baby Yoda versus Gizmo. I really want that fucking matchup though. I need to get somebody who's like really good into animation or something and commission them to make a Baby Yoda versus Gizmo story. Or maybe I can buy like a costume or something, do a TikTok. I don't know. That needs to happen. We need this. We need this in our lives. It is what 2022 needs. But anyway, yeah. Joe Dante, shut the fuck up, man. Come on, dude. Love your movies, but this is not a... I mean, to put it out there, unless he was being funny, which the story did not lead one to believe that he was being, like this was in jest. He was being serious and kind of irritated by it. Come on, man. Whatever. Get out of here. Anywho, so from there, we're gonna move right into one of our main things for the day, and this is a return to something we talked about last week, or something this week. We're gonna talk about the last 3 episodes of Resident Evil. Now, once again, as I prefaced last week's review, and I caught some flack from a few people saying you shouldn't call it a review if you haven't seen the whole thing. Well, I told you I hadn't seen the whole thing, and I gave you my thoughts on the show as a whole from what I had seen. Last week, or on Wednesday, we had seen episode 1 through 5. There's 8 total. We hadn't seen the last 3. We just didn't have time. But we did not see it getting better. I mean, I kind of shit all over it and said this show sucks. It's boring, which it is. And I didn't see it improving in those last 3 episodes. Now, also, I want to say, Nick, last we talked last evening, you had not, besides that one clip I showed you, you haven't watched any of this, right?
No, when I got sick, I was like, I don't know if I can handle Resident Evil right now.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
But, so Nick has actually not seen the last 3 episodes. He and we're going to talk about it, but he saw a clip of one of the episodes that I sent him, but or that I told him to watch. But I'm going to talk about it. He's seen enough of the Resident Evil show to know what we're talking about, and he'll give his comments. But yeah, I'm going to give you not a play-by-play, but give you a good idea of what happened in these last 3 episodes and tell you if it was any better. So let's jump right into Resident Evil, the Netflix show. Ending explained, I guess, or something. Yeah. All right. So leading up, like I said, leading up to these the last 3 episodes, as you can see on our previous episode, we weren't feeling it. Wasn't into it. It was boring. We thought the performances were all over the place. They were whatever, too bad. The effects good. Show looked good. There's money on the screen. Story sucked. It's just boring. Like nothing was fucking happening. First episode, some things happen, they set up, and then nothing happens for the rest of the fucking episodes, really. So we jump into episode 6, and right off the fucking bat, stuff starts to happen. And I'm like, God damn it. Really? I sat here and it was the same day I did the show on Wednesday. No, it was the very next day, I'm sorry. I sat here and had to say how this show's boring and absolutely nothing's happening, and I don't see that changing. Very next episode, shit starts to happen. Well, I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
Okay, so real quick, Eric Kripke, the guy who created the Boys, the TV series,
and
he made Yes, yeah, Supernatural. He made a comment last week about how people are creating to make a 10-hour TV series show instead of an actual TV series. So they add all the good shit to the very end of these episodes. So you're watching all the boring shit till you get to the end. He's like, that's not how you fucking do this stuff. No. You create each episode and you actually put great shit into each episode, and that's why your TV show works. Well, Resident Evil, take notes. You worked on fucking Supernatural, you son of a bitch.
Well, he didn't work on this show. He didn't work on this show. Somebody else.
Well, no. The guy who created this worked on Supernatural. Yeah. I'm sorry.
He worked with Eric Kripke. No, I absolutely agree with that, and that is exactly what happened here. The 8 episodes, the first 5. The first one, I'll give him the first one. Okay, I'll give him the first one. It wasn't great, but it was setting stuff up. We're getting to know people. Fine. That one, I was like, what exactly is going on here? But stuff was happening. It was setting things up. But after that one, episode 2 through 5 were just nothing. Boring as fuck.
Yep.
So then we get to the last 3, and all of a sudden, and the episode 7, right? 7, 8. No, I'm sorry. Episode 6. Things do start to happen. It is much more interesting. But it's really not until episodes 7 and 8 when shit really pops off. But there are things do start to ramp up in episode 6. So basically, after everything I told you guys about the story last week, or on Wednesday, where the story was, which was pretty much fuck all nowhere, we pick up, and Jade, our main character, which is played by, and I am once going to go butcher her name, Ella Balenska, I think that's Jade Wesker. In the future, she got captured by her sister in Umbrella, but then she gets free from her sister lets her go. That's what it is. Her sister lets her go, but then we find out, it's all bullshit. But she makes it back to this thing called the Institute. That's where she's been trying to get to. We find out that the Institute is actually this big tanker ship that just floats around. So that's kind of like the fucking movies were. That's where Salvation was in the Resident Evil movies that everybody hates. But whatever. It kind of looks the same. But she gets there. That's where the remnants of humanity are. Her people, and they're the people, the resistance, if you will, against Umbrella. She brings that head from the zombie that could talk to other zombies, and that whole episode is pretty much them trying to figure out how this one zombie controlled the other ones, and they find out it's through pheromones. They're able to her blood has something to do with it, of course, like it does, blah 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 blah. We find out that this pheromone, you can spray it on yourself, and it's like the zombies don't see you. She brings one on board. She goes out to the water, brings a zombie on board without anybody knowing, sprays herself with this pheromone, and it doesn't see her. But then her kid comes in, and it breaks loose, of course. It goes through, it kills this pregnant woman who she was working with, and the husband's like, oh, no. Umbrella shows up right around that time because our main character just did some shit that's really despicable and we fucking hate, so they need something to distract us from that. They show up, her sister's there, she's like, aha, I double-crossed you. And they land on, like, this island right next to the ship. So the ship's there, and they start like parlaying, having these talks about, you know, what is it you want. They say, we want her. Actually, Umbrella just wants everything, but they want Jade. They get her on the island, and she decides to, like, give herself up so that they can get out of there. Also, on this ship, and we'll get to it in a minute, you see it's dragging something behind it underwater. You can't see what it is. You just see these big, huge ropes going into the water. It's dragging something really large behind it. And she keeps telling them, hey, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to do this, and you guys get the fuck out of here and hit the button. They keep talking about hit the button, hit the button, hit the button. We'll find out what the button is in a minute. Now, in the past, stuff actually starts to happen too that is actually, I've been more interested in the future stuff, even though nothing was really happening then either. But the past stuff was just them in high school and shit, and I was just really finding it insufferable. So, but in the past now, they kind of give up on the high school shit. And we find out more about
Thank God.
Albert Wesker. We find out that Wesker is a clone. And we go back to 2004 and we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, no, wait. 1, 2, 3. I think it was 4 total. 4 total Weskers. We get OG Wesker. We got the Albert Wesker we've known in the show so far. And then his 2 brothers. More on them in a minute. So that's more or less... That's at the beginning of episode 7. But all the other stuff I said is more or less episode 6. They're trying to figure out this pheromone. They figure it out. But they also have... The pheromone, it, like, goes both ways. They have one that makes you invisible to them, which she has on her. And then they have one that will, like, draw them in with a vengeance. So you got, like, an on-off switch for these zombies. Or zeros, as they call them in the show, whatever. Because, like Nick said, they're not really zombies, but they are... I don't know, whatever. So the show, I mean, that from there, and I'm not going to recap everything. Basically what happens, let's just flow into it. Albert Wesker, original Wesker, made clones to try and work on some stuff. Umbrella caught him and said, hey, you're not supposed to be working on this stuff. 2 of the clones are killed. He runs off. We get a passing thing saying he was killed in a fucking volcano, which I think that's from Resident Evil 5. They do. They just say it like, they're like, oh, yeah. Because, like,
he punched too many boulders.
It goes to the future, and he says, oh, original Albert Wesker, yeah, he died in a volcano. But anyway, moving on, you're like, what? You're just going to, what? You're going to leave it there? He died in a fucking volcano. And we're going to talk about him in a minute, too. But so then we have 2 Wesker clones left. We have clone we've been following that we didn't know was a clone. But his brother, he finds his clone brother, Bert. He goes by Bert. Bert's a little off. He's kind of crazy. He's like kind of childlike. Not childlike, just innocent, if you will. And he's been held captive for the past 25 years or whatever in this installation. He's a little off. And he wants to help his brother because Wesker gets caught by Umbrella because they're like, you know, you've been doing whatever, nothing's really whatever. He gets caught. Bert breaks out and goes and gets the girls, and stuff happens, and he's, like I said, I liked this character of Bert, honestly. It was Lance Reddick having a good time. I mean, you usually see Lance Reddick being very serious and stoic and all that. Even when he's being funny, he's still being that very precise and concise character. Here, he was just acting almost borderline mentally retarded, but like just kind of like, hey, bro. He's calling people bro and stuff like that, and he's walking around. I really enjoyed the character of Bert, and he did grow on me. Pretty much all the characters that Lance Reddick played, I enjoyed. I loved in this show. And honestly, those 2 characters played by the same person were the characters that I attached to the most in the show. But then shit happens, and the outbreak begins. Billy, who we thought was cured, isn't really. It just moves really slow through her because of her blood. She was created because apparently her and her sister were created because to keep the clones going, they have to have this special cure that is actually their blood. So that's why he created them, but he does love them. He cares about them. They're mad at him. That's why he's always taking their blood and injecting himself with it, blah, blah, blah. The boy, the love interest boy, he gets bitten by Billy. The mom comes in and shoots him in the fucking head. I will say I wasn't expecting that. That happened. Right before it happened, I was like, she's about to shoot this kid in the head. Or she's about to shoot him. But I wasn't expecting the mom to just walk up and blow his fucking head off like earlier in the show. Because she does. You do get the idea that the mother, the big executive at Umbrella, cares for her kid, but she's still psycho. But yeah, she shot him in the fucking head. He got bit. He's not turning or anything. He's just like, what do I do? And Albert's like, I'll help him. You know I can, and we'll do this. And da-da-da-da. They're sitting there talking, and she just goes, pow, and blows his fucking head off. And I was like, well, damn. There's that. She said, I did it for him because there was no helping or whatever. And the two Alberts and the daughters start to escape. Shit's blowing up and going crazy. Albert Wesker, that we've been following, sacrifices himself. We think. We never see a body. But he sets off a bomb that blows everything up. Bert and the girls get out. And the end of the show, we see them driving out of Umbrella or New Raccoon City. But we also see the Tyrant for a minute. It's in this tank. I think the Tyrant is probably original Albert Wesker, if I had to guess. That's all. We get to see it for a second, like banging on a thing, and then at the end of the show, there's some rubble, and we see its hand pop out. That's all we get of the Tyrant, the T-virus infected big Tyrant. In the future, more stuff is happening. It's a bit more interesting. They have their little parlay. We find out that woman, who the big executive lady, she's being actually controlled by Billy's character, but they're all just fucking evil.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she's like
This
literally
is so
being
much
controlled with an
information.
iPad.
Is this
Like-
why she's so horny all the time in that scene?
Like well, in the past she wasn't, but at some point in time Billy took over, and she she like literally walks in when Jade's character walks in to like give herself up. This woman's sitting there like this, and then she pops up and starts singing like a pop song, and you're like, what in the fuck is going on? And she's dancing around and doing like choreography like she's Britney Spears or something, and then
Oh lord.
Billy comes in with an iPad, and she's like, haha, you like that? And she does this a lot. She like holds it, and she's doing that. She does that throughout the rest of the episode. She controls everything with this thing. She's a fucking iPad from hell. But Jade, of course, she has the pheromone thing, and she throws it down, and she's like, oh, you fucked up now. And then 5 billion zombies come running from the hills, literally, and attack this place, and just kill everybody, and start... That part was... It was entertaining enough. Stuff was happening. People were dying. It was bloody. It all looked good. We find out what they're dragging behind them. Apparently a giant mutated alligator, which is from the game. I'll give them that. They have like this thing in its head. Or RE1.
Which game is that from?
I think it's in 1 and
RE1,
2,
no.
but I know it's in 1. Giant Norman, like as big as this tanker ship. Giant alligator. Like big as a building. And they got this thing in its head. That's what the button is. It sparks it, makes it go crazy, but then, or it sparks it to life or whatever, and it's drawn to that pheromone, so it comes on the shore, and it does look cool, and I like the design of it, how it's almost like 2 alligators put together and then just barely off, like a living 3D image, if you will. Like when it opens its mouth, there's like just a sliver of like another one's mouth, and it's got like 2 tails. It was a cool design, I thought. It's not too crazy out there, but it's definitely, you look at it and you're like, that's mutated. It comes on shore and killing people. Billy has her iPad, like MacGuffin, and she has drones with infinite ammo, apparently, just blowing away everything. They get away from that. They kill the big dinosaur, or crocodile, and she gets away. We meet Jade's daughter, but she gets off. And then Billy shows back up and takes Jade's daughter from her and shoots Jade and leaves her for dead, but she's still alive. At the end of the show, it shows her like getting up all strong, and she's like looking off into the distance where the helicopter went, like, I'm gonna go fuck you up. And the show ends. And that's where it ends. I'm trying to think. That's more or less what happened. I was trying not to do a beat for beat, but my point is this: those 3 episodes had more shit happening than all 5 of the episodes that came before it. Like the whole show leading up to there had nothing going on. I had said earlier in last week's thing that you could have taken all 5 of those episodes, condensed them down to about an episode and a half, and had the same amount of information. And probably that might even be too much. But this one actually, I felt as if the 6th episode, it probably could have been shortened up a bit, but I was entertained enough. But these last 3 episodes, absolutely, and I am 100% with you, and I hate when shows do that. They're taking all the boring stuff and throwing it at you first and getting it out of the way, and then hitting you with the exciting stuff. My question is, why the fuck do we have to have the boring stuff to begin with? Write better characters, better shows, better stories. If you have boring shit, cut it the fuck out. Why do we even have to have them? Go ahead.
So what you're saying is we need more clone Weskers in the series and explosions.
Yes. Now, okay. So real quick, let me put. We're gonna talk about some specifics more than I just did, but first of all, okay, the things I didn't like. The show is still not great because even though these last 3 episodes pick up and at least become more entertaining, I didn't necessarily say great, but entertaining. Things are happening. You still have 5 episodes that came before it that are boring as fuck and nothing's happening. So it's like, what, that's not okay. The Walking Dead season 2 had the same thing. You had like that mid-season end when the one guy John Bernthal came back and got shot, and then you had the end. No, I'm sorry, that was the end. The mid-season was with the little girl who came out of the barn. Everybody was like, "Oh my god!" and that was a huge moment. That was great. And the end when John Bernthal turned into a zombie, it was like, "Oh my god!" These huge moments. But everything that came before it was fucking stupid and boring. So it doesn't make up for it, and that's what this show's trying to do. It's trying to end on a bang, but everything else was just what. So that still is a hit against this show as a whole. It's still not great. It's far from great. Did those last 3 episodes redeem it? No. They probably brought the rate. If I was going to give it a rating, whatever rating I would give it, those last 3 episodes may have brought the rating up 1 mark. But that's it. Because everything that's happening is also just things happening. Now, okay, we went from nothing happening to shit's happening. Now, a lot of the shit is just that. It's just shit. It's just shit happening. It's entertaining enough, especially compared to where it came from, but it's still just shit. It's still just fucking a bunch of stuff happening on screen. And this whole shootout that happens in the end of the show that I was talking about with the 5 billion zombies goes on forever. It never gets full on boring, but it is kind of like, I feel like this is going on so long because this is an hour-long episode or a 45-minute episode, and they just need to make it happen. Because these fucking drones, they have God mode and unlimited ammo on. They just shoot these chain guns for the longest. It keeps on going back to them. It's like they're still shooting them. They're still going. So that could have all been trimmed up for sure. I think that maybe the last, 2 of those episodes could have been condensed into 1, I think. But I will say that they are definitely better than that last one. The first 5. Is it worth going through those first 5 to get to these last ones? No, with the exception of 1 scene. But no, it is not. It's just not. The show as a whole is still kind of just whatever. And by the end, I'm not compelled to watch season 2. I could give a fuck what happens to this little girl or the mom or the sister. I don't care. I still do not care about these fucking characters. I mean, yeah, it was a bit more entertaining, but still not good. Better. In the whole grand scheme of things, it is better, but it's still not great. It's still not good. So based on just because I've been doing a lot of talking because I know I'm the one that watched it, but based on what I told you and what you saw of the show already, what do you think, Nick?
I really appreciate your candor on the description of the episodes, but the only thing I can say is Blade Wesker is as much as I needed to know about those last 3 episodes.
We're gonna get there in a minute.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't want to spoil anything, but it doesn't sound that exciting to me. So I'm
And
sorry.
it's not. That's why it doesn't sound that way, because it's not. Because I couldn't make it sound that way, because it's not exciting. It's still kind of sucks. I will say, at least, I gotta be honest, I was wrong when I said I don't see the show getting any better. It did. I will say it got better. But, you know, in school, if you got an F and you bring it up to a D, that's better, but it's still not good. And so that's where I stand with this. It went from an F to a D. I mean, or at best a D to a low C, and that's really giving it a lot. And really, there's one scene it kind of brings it up to that low C, if even that. I mean, if this were my rating scale, for those of you that watch my channel, this would definitely be a USA Up All Night. Definitely. Am I going to call it an absolute total train wreck? It ain't far from it. Some parts of it definitely are, but overall, with all 8 episodes, check it out on USA Up All Night. At best. I mean, just know what you're getting into. And that's not just coming from a fan of Resident Evil, because I did some thinking, and I was like, I need to stop thinking of this from a fan's perspective and just say, this is a show. It's just a show. Just look at this as just its own thing, because that's what it is. It is not Resident Evil. So know that. Go into it that way. You're probably still not going to enjoy it, but you'll have I don't know. You won't be as disappointed, possibly. I don't know. So Nick alluded to something a minute ago. That's the things I didn't like about it. I mean, all the things I didn't like about the previous 5 that we didn't like about it, none of that really changes. The only thing that changes is not as boring. It's the boring part. It's nowhere near as boring. It is more stuff happening, more entertaining. Everything else still stands. Characters don't improve. Nothing. Albert Wesker gets better, but he was already the best part of the show. So what I liked about it, all that still stands. I think it looks good. The show still has a lot of money on screen. It looks good. The effects are decent. Lance Reddick, best part of the show, and that only gets better. That is one of the only things I would say is worth watching, at least these last 3 episodes, is for what he does. He is giving like an actor's dream opportunity to play like multiple characters that are very different in the way that they react to things. But there's a scene that happens, and for those of you that are, I don't think anybody's just like, oh no, don't try, especially after I just went through all that. Nobody's going to be offended to see this, but there's a scene that I asked Nick to watch. It's just like a minute or two, and I'm only going to show you guys a quick clip of it because, you know, copyright and all that. But
awesome.
In the beginning of episode 7, and then we're going to move on from this thing. We're going to put Resident Evil in the back seat, but I wanted everybody to see this. There's a scene that pops up in the first 2 minutes, I think it is, of episode 7, where we find out that Wesker is clone, or there are clone Weskers. And what happens in that scene, the person that shows up, I think was awesome because it was a reveal that we've all been waiting for. But it's not the reveal it's from a different franchise. I was really surprised. We finally get a character reveal from another franchise. This is a crossover. I didn't even fucking know it. And I thought it was going to be a totally different actor, but apparently we were all fucking wrong. But we get the reveal of this extremely popular character that I'm surprised Marvel put it in this, because this is a Sony deal, I think, which makes sense. They've worked together before. But I want to show this real quick to everybody so you can see it. This just real quick clip. It's pretty amazing. There's other things in that scene that pop up that are funny, but that right there, I understand why they dress this man this way. Okay, I do. I get why they showed him. Let me show everybody again why this is OG Albert Wesker, by the way. I understand why they put him in this, because he's that's how he dresses in the games. I don't get why all of a sudden they decided they want to get game accurate to this level right here, like all of a sudden right now. I mean, I just don't get why everything else has been pretty like, whatever. But now we're going to be game accurate in season 7 for one fucking character. And you picked somebody who, I don't know, just Lance Reddick in that outfit and everything. First of all, they just went to the fucking Blade movie, the Wesley Snipes movie, and took that costume and put it on him. Now, the character of Wesker does wear, like, this long trench coat and all that in the games. And
Yeah.
He has the sunglasses. That is all iconic Wesker, I suppose. But who the fuck would they dressed him in this and he came on? Maybe the people that the costume designers didn't think about it. Somebody, you're on a Resident Evil show. Somebody had to have looked at that and said, he looks like he's Blade. He's just fucking Blade. And the hair, he's fucking Blade. We can't do this. You got to change something. Take the hair off of him at least. This was the best laugh I have had in a while. I laughed my fucking ass off at this. And then what he does afterwards, I'm not going to show it. He starts like zipping around the room and everything and like doing kung fu to people. There's some people are about to break up in there. It's pretty.
It feels like a Funny or Die sketch. It really does.
Yeah. I really wish if he had just busted out a sword, I would have just been convinced they were trolling us at that point. Because he does start doing like this kung fu stuff and jumping around and like and doing that zippy thing that Wesker does. And I was just like, I just wish he had just popped out a sword for just a second. And it would have been even better if he had just turned to somebody and said, some motherfucker's always trying to ice skate uphill.
It's still glorious. I mean, with Lance Reddick, it's still glorious. It's like, even though it's stupid and cheesy, it's like, this is what Lance Reddick needs to do. He needs to lean into his humor because he's a very funny dude. Like, you ever watch that Funny or Die thing he did? The guy's funny as hell. Like, if you ever hear him do interviews, he is a funny dude. Like, legit. And
he does. I mean, just on him real quick before we get out of here. Yeah, the Blade thing was funny, but he legitimately gets a chance. The character of Bert is him just letting loose, and I've never seen him act that way in a movie. He's very like, hey, what's up, bro? What's going on? Hey, come on, guys. I'm your this. And he's got like this love of breadsticks at Olive Garden. There's a scene that he's like going ham on some breadsticks and like telling the lady, bring me some fucking breadsticks. And she's like, oh, you need to finish your thing first. He's like, you said it was an endless basket. That's not endless. This is my endless basket. They need their endless basket. And he's going off on this lady. She's like, you have to finish your basket first. And he's like, fuck it, fine. And he takes him out and throws him on the table and takes the basket and throws it at her. He's like, there you go. Give me my fucking breadsticks. It's pretty great. Like, best part of the show is him. Just go and find some supercut that has all of Lance Reddick's scenes from the Resident Evil show, and you'll be better off than just watching all episodes of this. But yeah, that's where I'm at. There's no need. I mean, Nick, I know you weren't really feeling this show to begin with, but honestly, I'll say it. I know I'm a completionist. I like finishing things that I start and shows and all that. I guess there's just a little bit of hope that it'll get better, and it did, but you don't need to.
But see, I have this list right here of shows I need to watch, and when I finish it, I think it's like number 600 right here. So I'll get to it eventually.
You don't feel like you got to though. If you miss it, it's okay. It's okay.
It's right underneath Killing the Kardashians. So.
Oh yeah, I'd never get to it. But if you, my explanation of it, and I'm no wordsmith, is probably more entertaining than the show as a whole. So don't feel like you got to get to it. So you're not missing anything. Okay, so from there, ladies and gents, we spent more time on that Resident Evil than I wanted to, but I couldn't stop talking about it, and that Blade. Anyway, let's move let's move on into our last two little stories of the day. These are going to be pretty quick ones, much like the other ones. Like I said, slow news, end of the week, if you will. Did I hit it? Yeah, I did. Okay, so this one is actually pretty cool for those of you that are into VR or Steam or anything. Not a lot of information here. This is going to be a lot of speculation as well. And we're talking about Steamvr, which if you're into VR, I assume you know what SteamVR is because it's the main place to get VR stuff, even if you have a Quest. But Steamvr Fest is apparently a thing, and it will be bringing demos and discounts to your headset from July 18th to 25th. It's essentially a version of Steam Next Fest with a VR focus. It's kind of just this big VR thing that they're doing. There's a sale, but it's also like releasing a bunch of new things, and it's a big focus on VR over at Steam. That's great. Now, there's another piece to this puzzle, and that is that Valve, this came from last year in 2021, Valve actually filed a patent for a new VR headset in 2021. That's all the info we got on that. Now, those of you that aren't in the know, Valve runs Steam. They're the company that runs Steam. They have been deep in VR for years. They are the VR place. And then, MetaQuest or Facebook, whatever, the Quest, Oculus Quest, and 2 came along. It's really popular now. But Valve is still probably the place where you get most VR content. And they have their own headset called the Valve Index. It's a great headset. It's not wireless, has great controllers. But people have been saying, hey, when are we going to get an update to that? Index Pro, Index 2, something like that. They call it Index 2. And some people are thinking, myself included, that maybe this week or next week, because this is on Monday is when it starts, that we might actually be finally getting some type of announcement of that forthcoming headset. But also some other things. They just like seemingly out of the blue all of a sudden are doing this big VR push and focus, and people are thinking something big's coming. And I guess my real question here, and what I wanted to talk about with you, Nick, because I know that you are in, maybe not as much as me, but you are into VR.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think that this is just a fucking sale and them saying, hey, here's some VR stuff and that's it? Or do you think we might be getting a new Index headset? If there is a new Index headset, what do you think will be improved for you? I don't know how deeply ingrained in the know of what the Index does or not. What do you think we're going to get from this besides just some discounts on some good old games?
I hope this new new headset, if they're talking about it, will get rid of the light boxes. I'm assuming those are a pain in the ass when it comes to, Valve's product. So maybe they're going to do for you, because you have big enough space for it now, but for most people, those light boxes are a pain in the ass because you don't have a lot of space. But
yeah, I mean, they're okay. All right, on the
inside out tracking is kind of where it's going.
Yeah, on the subject of inside out tracking versus lighthouses or fixed tracking, if you will, it's a double-edged sword. Like inside out tracking, I mean, people attribute it to the Oculus. It actually started with the Windows mixed reality headsets. I've got one over there. They were the first to do it. But inside out tracking, which is what the Oculus has, the cameras that stick out and tell the headset where you are and where your controllers are, is great because you can just throw a headset on anywhere and play. And you don't have to, that's the setup. You just define an area with the controller. And that's great. It's the accuracy that comes into play there. You're sacrificing the accuracy of having the fixed lighthouses in a room. Like I have them, other people that have, and that's kind of been a staple of VR until Inside Out became a thing. Until this day, I still would prefer to play with lighthouses because the tracking is 1-to-1. Like you could be behind your back moving fingers and stuff and it's still tracking it, and it knows exactly where you are at all fucking times. It never loses it. Now Oculus Quest does a really damn good job, I will give it that, but I mean yeah it's still nowhere. It's just not as accurate as outside tracking. However, you're confined to that one spot. I mean, unless you like take them down, move them, you are confined to wherever those are. And you're not moving around. I mean, Oculus, you're just like, oh, I don't need to be in here. I want to, like me, I can be down here playing something, or I can go up to my bedroom and put it on and just hit a couple of buttons and watch a movie in a movie theater environment. I can go to my living room. It's just that easy. I can't do that with my other headsets, my Valve headsets. Not that easily, at least. I'm not going to do that. This shit's mounted to the ceiling and the wall and everything. So it's kind of like if you have the space for it, if you have a place where you can set up VR permanently, and that's where you're going to do it, that is definitely the preferred way to play. But I totally get the inside out tracking being a that's a big selling point. But for me,
Yeah.
I don't mind the. How about both? Can we get a headset that just is like it's not forcing you to do one or the other. Have the cameras there, so if you want to do inside out, but have it to where maybe it still has those little divots, the tracking in it. So if you have the lighthouses, maybe it's not going to force you to use them, but if you have the lighthouses, hey, you can opt to use those. How about that? That'd be cool, I think. But I'm sorry, I kind of cut it off what you were saying.
No, you're fine. I mean, you're the guy that has both versions, so you kind of know it better than I do. But I mean, the big thing about Steam and Valve is they're always looking to make more money. So announcing new headsets and discounting games, and if you're as aware as I am, VR games never seem to discount ever, like unless there's a sale going on. So if you're like on the Oculus Quest store or Meta Quest, whatever the hell they call themselves now, most of those games they're like Nintendo, they never drop in price ever. And I don't know, it's just that's what I'm assuming, that they're going to do a lot of heavy discounts on stuff that you or I may already own. Maybe kind of the one thing that maybe a new Half-Life, well, I won't hold my breath for that one. Actually,
Sorry.
Did you see the fan? No, yeah, I know. Did you see the fan mod that they're doing?
There's a lot of mod. On Half-Life Alyx.
No. They're doing like somebody's doing a Half-Life Alyx mod, like a full like continuation that, of course, Valve will never do. That.
Oh yeah, I doubt they'll do it. But I mean, I know
Yeah.
there's lots of games they modded BioShock, the first BioShock, in the Half-Life Alyx engine. I actually have that. You can play that through that engine. It's pretty cool. So yeah, there's a lot of that out there. But yeah, a continuation of Half-Life Alyx. No, I haven't seen that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, no. But I don't know. Valve is so sketchy on what they're gonna do. You never know what they're gonna do. Sometimes they'll release a card game. Sometimes they'll come out with a sequel, or sometimes they'll just go, "Hey, here's a bunch of games," and people will be like, "Ooh, there's my wallet. Here's my money. Throw it in the fire." I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Like I said, this is the first time I'm hearing about it, so I didn't know Valve did
they just released
their
this,
own.
like yesterday. It just popped out that, hey, by the way,
okay.
Monday we're doing this thing. Now, I mean,
That sounds like Valve.
It is more of a digital kind of, and they are notorious for on announcements being like more last minute. They're not like Microsoft,
Yeah.
Sony, and all that, where they're like, hey, in 4 weeks we're having this thing that people. And there's a good and a bad to that. I mean, that builds excitement, but also you don't have to sit there and people just like, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? And they build it to such a crescendo that they're like disappointed because it gets to this point where it's like, So Valve doesn't ever really do that. They'll tell you, hey, we're doing a thing, and then they do it, and it is what it is. I'm hoping. I do want to touch on. I know that you were more because Nick has the Oculus Quest 2, Beta Quest, whatever you call it. I have multiple headsets. I'm a little bit more invested in VR for years. I've acquired them over years, and I've been more invested in Steam. I'm actually more newer to the Oculus Quest side of things. I had an Oculus Rift, but I mainly use that in Steam. But so I know that you're more invested in that store, and I will say, because you can play Steam on your Quest, of course, through AirLink or whatever. I have noticed that too. The Quest store just doesn't put shit on sale or just bring the price down on stuff very often. They are very Nintendo in that way, where it stays that price. However, on Steam, they sell the shit out of their stuff all the time. That's how I've acquired so many games. I've got like fucking 800 games and I don't know, a couple of hundred VR games. I got a lot of VR games on Steam. They sell that shit all the time. They put their stuff on, and they have a lot of the same games, but that shit's on sale. So if you're looking for sales, go over to Steam, because that's one of the things Steam is known for. They will put something on sale in a heartbeat. Now there's some things that you don't see on sale as often, but I mean, hell, you could find some really good deals on Steam if you're willing to play them through Steam and not through Oculus, FYI. But as far as like what they're going to be releasing, the big question is the headset. If they have a headset, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna try and guess what, like, if any software or anything, something else for Half-Life Alyx or another Half-Life or something like that. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. You never know with Valve. They still haven't even released Half-Life 3.
Half-Life dog. I know.
But
What if that is the big announcement? Hey, we're not getting a new headset, but you're getting a Half-Life 3. Internet explodes.
dude, if they, I enjoyed Half-Life 2 and 1, but I'm not as invested in some. But if they announced Half-Life 3 and like actually showed it and dates and stuff like that, they were going to release that. Yeah, the internet would explode. I just don't think it's ever going to happen. But
No.
as far as like an index, a second index or a new headset, if you will, I'll tell you what I want from it. To get me to buy. I don't own an index. I own a Vive. It's highly modified, but I have a Vive. There's one main reason I haven't gotten an index, because I think it's a fantastic headset. I used one at a demo thing once. The wire. I just can't do it, man. And I had wireless. I have a wireless attachment on my Vive. Since I've gone wireless, I cannot go back to it. Now, sometimes, depending on the wireless setup you have, going wireless, totally wireless, you won't get as crisp a signal. Now, that's something. The index has a beautiful display. It has the awesome controllers, which I do have the index controllers. I use those. It has a great field of view, but that's what I want. If they release a new fucking headset, if you want Jacob Anders to pre-order that headset as soon as possible, I need it to be wireless, still have that great, because they've got Wi-Fi 6 now, which everybody's saying you can do wireless and a high fidelity image through Wi-Fi 6. So give me wireless with that high fidelity image, good, a wider FOV, like a much wider FOV, but make it good, because you've got the headsets like the Pimax that have like the 200 and something, but it gets real distorted on the edges. Give me a bigger FOV, wireless, still a quality panel. That's really it. All the other stuff is super, like, I can deal with. I can make it happen. I want that, but I also want, now that you've mentioned it, or we were talking about it, I'd love to have a headset that has both inside out and base station option tracking. I don't see why not. Just fucking do it. Like, even the Vive has cameras on it. It's got 2 cameras on the bottom. Just add 2 small. There you go. You're already paying a premium for this thing. Give us the option to do both. That would be, if you did that, that would be the only headset I'd ever use. I would see no reason in using my Quest if I had a index that was wireless and could do inside out when I wanted it to. That would be fucking amazing. That's the kind of upgrade we need, because all other like incremental upgrades, I'm like, that's not worth spending what you guys are asking for it. But that is the upgrade that would get me to say, yeah, here's my money. I want it. And I really do. I want an index, but I just don't want to do the wire anymore. I've moved past it a few years ago, and that is why I haven't upgraded. Beyond that, that's why I got a Quest and I didn't get an index. So come on, Valve, give me an index, Index 2, Index Pro, whatever you're gonna fucking call it. I don't give a shit what you call it. You can call it dick in your mouth. I don't care. Just give me these things I want, because that's what I've been wanting. High quality headset, wireless. Yes, please.
The price is what gets me, is all.
Oh, for sure. That price needs to come down. Those prices.
$1,000.
Yeah.
So
now,
crazy.
You can get the Valve Index for $400, but that's only the headset. You're not getting the controllers. You're not getting the base stations. Like, for me, if I was going to do it, that's what I would buy, is because I've got the controllers, I've got the base stations, I've got all the other stuff. I just need the headset. I just don't want to, and I don't mind the $400. I can't envision a $400. It's not a $400 upgrade for me. Could I pay you $400? Yeah, I could come up with $400 to get it, but I don't look at that and say it's a great headset. Yeah, but given the other headsets I have, it's not a $400. You cut that cord, suddenly it becomes a lot more tempting to me. So we'll see.
Those controllers are amazing.
Oh yeah, they're the best. They're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I actually recently just got these little dongle things in the mail so that I could use the index controllers with my Quest, because you can't mix them. So those controllers are awesome. So yeah, give us that. Who knows though? I mean, chances are we'll come up on. I think it's going for two or 3 days. Let's see, through the through the 25th. So it's going all week. Chances are we'll get to the 25th, 26th of this month and not shit.
Wow.
Nothing. It was a sale. That's it. So I don't know. We will see what happens. I'm hoping for something. I don't know. It could just be. We're probably not gonna get shit. It's Valve. Come on now. Or they'll give us what we were never expecting. Who knows?
Exactly.
All right, so moving on from that last topic. I don't want to say last story because these have been less stories and more topics. This is the last topic of the evening. This is something. This will go fairly quick, I think. I say that about every one of them. We're going to talk about Halo Infinite for a minute. Been a while. Game came out in pieces. First multiplayer at the very end of last year. So, excuse me. One of the things that was missing from its release last year was the co-op. Co-op has been a big deal with Halo since its inception. So that's where you can not play against, but play with your friends or whoever and play campaign co-op. You can play at the same time. You're on the same team. Just playing through the story. That was missing. They did say it was coming, though. Why? I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. Some people say, oh, it shouldn't have been missing, blah, blah, blah. I assume it was missing for a reason. They're not charging money for it, so I don't think it was to make money. Whatever reason it was, it is coming finally. And it is reported that Halo Infinite co-op campaign is coming as a free update, which is, if they were asking for money, I'd have issues with it. As they said it would, and, it's coming out. It's either out now, I think it's out in beta now, but it will be totally live for everybody very, very soon. That's not the issue, though. The issue is that apparently this is sparking some debate and criticisms from some people across this area. Now, let me explain something real quick for those of you that aren't as in the know. The way that this works, you can get Halo Infinite, the game, the base game, 2 ways. Really 3, but 2 ways. You can pay for it and get it on Xbox, Windows, or Steam. I think actually it's only $40 now, but whatever. You can pay for it and you own it, or you can join Microsoft's subscription service Game Pass, which I've talked about before. You join that, and everything within Game Pass, which Halo Infinite is a permanent fixture of, you get for free. You get to put, or not for free. It's part of your subscription, kind of like Netflix. You get the game as long as you are a member of Game Pass. You have total 100% access to that game. Great. The multiplayer section of Halo Infinite was free to play. Anyone could play it, but if you want to play the campaign, the story mode, you had to acquire, either by paying for or getting a member of Game Pass, the actual story part of the game. Okay, so we understand, right? That makes sense. Most games out there that are paid for, you have to pay for, one way or the other, to get. This is a free update. It's a free mode that they're adding to it. They're adding this mode to the story. So there's people out there that are bitching and moaning, saying it's not really free, because if I don't own the game, I don't get to play co-op. Which is a dumbass thing to say from the get-go, in my opinion, but whatever. But there was one gentleman, and I'm not going to call him out here, and I'm not going to show his video. There have been multiple people. That's another reason. It's not just this one guy. Quite a few people have been talking about and raising a stink about this, but this one guy doubled down totally on it. Released a YouTube video and everything. I'm not one to call people out, but I am going to talk about this video. He had a few points. He had a lot of points that I was just like, this is fucking stupid. But he had a couple of things. He said, it's not really free because you have to buy the game. He apparently bought the game, well, signed up for Game Pass. Game Pass was on sale where they were doing a thing. They were like, hey, pay $1 and you can get Game Pass for like 3 months or something like that. So he paid his $1 and he got Game Pass. So he got to play Halo Infinite back when it first came out. He apparently did not renew that. Fine. It's $10 a month after that. Still a great deal for hundreds and hundreds of games for free or for $10.
Yeah.
But, he decided he didn't want to do that. That's fine. That's no problem. It's totally understandable. If it's not for you, it's not for you. So he played through the campaign. Now this co-op's coming. Free update. And he's butthurt because he can't play that without signing back up for the Game Pass or buying the game. And he says that's unacceptable. He says, I will say he did say, if you've never played the game, it's understandable to join back up for Game Pass. If you're not a Game Pass member, you haven't been, and you find value in that, it's understandable. That all made sense. But it's also fucking understandable to pay for the fucking game you want to play. But this is the thing. It's not just him. I keep saying he, but these people are saying, oh, because a lot of them use that $1 thing to join up. Because what the idea was, just like Netflix says, hey, you get 2 weeks free, all that. They're trying to give you something for a lot less, so then you like it and you stay there. Some people didn't do that. They just joined it. Once that was up, it was fine, whatever. But he and other people are saying that, oh, you expect me to pay, because it's $10 a month, 10 times as much for this game as I did when it originally came out. You didn't pay 10 fucking times as much. You didn't pay $1 for the game. You paid $1 fucking dollar for a service that the game was included on. And he feels so entitled that since he played the game back then, he should be able to play this free update for free. He should be able to continue to play the game for free, even though he's not part of this fucking service. What the fuck? This service is already a great deal, the greatest deal in the gaming industry.
Yeah.
And it's not good enough for you? It's $10 fucking dollars. Or just buy the goddamn game. Or if it doesn't mean that much to you, what are you bitching about? You clearly don't like the game. I do not understand this logic. He's sitting here saying that it's not a free update because I haven't bought the game. What the fuck game out there in history have you been able to play the free updates for that you didn't buy the game for? I'm trying to think of one. God of War, I'm sure, had some type of free updates and something done to it and added to it. If it got updated, are you mad that you couldn't play that? If you don't own God of War, you can't play that part of the DLC that came with it or whatever. Are you mad about that? No. What the fuck is... This makes no fucking sense to me. He says it's BS that you have to pay for the game. What? What?
That's like that's like, you buy I don't know, you watch the first part of a movie and you watch like the first 40 minutes of a movie and you go out, you like, I want my refund because I don't like this movie. Sir, you just watch 40 minutes of it. Well, I want my money back. That's not how this works. It's like it's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense.
Or better yet, it's like you watch, I don't know.
Oh, you get a free trial of Netflix, and then they come out with new content, and you're like, oh, because you came out with new content, I was already part of Netflix. You should give it to me. No.
Last year or a few years ago, whenever it was, you got Netflix for 2 weeks free, and you watched Stranger Things season 3. You watched it, and now you want to watch Stranger Things season 4 because it's free on Netflix, but you don't have Netflix anymore, and you can't get this 2 weeks free anymore because you already used it. So now you have to pay $10 a month, which I think, or there's like 14, whatever it is for Netflix now. You have to pay that, and you're bitching and moaning and mad because why should I have to? I already watched season 3. Why should I have to pay to watch season 4? I paid for that a year ago. Because it's been at least 8 months ago since this fucking game came out.
Yeah.
You're bitching and moaning because you don't get to watch the new thing, but you're not subscribed to it or paying for it. Or paying for with the base part of it. This is fucking stupid. And it's not just this guy, and I'm not going to be that person who pulls up tweets and we talk shit about people, but it's out there. There's lots of people bitching about this. This is some type of entitled 4D chess shit that I just don't get.
It's fan baseism. It's fan bases for you. It's what it is. People complain about everything. About, I'm entitled to this, I'm entitled to that. No, you're really not. You may be a Star Wars fan, but you're not the one that created Star Wars. You're not really entitled to the series. You're entitled to like the series and buy its merch that Disney's selling you, but you are not entitled to ownership to a property that doesn't belong to you. That's not how that works. Same thing here. They're not entitled to get free stuff just because they don't want to pay the $10 a month, which, like you said, is a great deal, and they're just idiots.
Yeah, it's fucking. I have a hard time talking about this subject because it makes no fucking sense. I'm like, what is there to talk about here? I don't understand what talking points I can bring up when it's such a simple thing, but it is turning in such a big deal out there that people are like going on and on about how it's not fair that they have to pay to play the co-op because they didn't buy the game or stay with Game Pass and they don't want to sign back up. What the fuck? You people are fucking idiots. I'm sorry. I don't like just outright calling people that on their opinion. Your opinion is fucking stupid. If your opinion's that fucking stupid, I just got to say you're a fucking moron.
Well, the thing I'll say is you can be upset if you pay for something and are promised something and 8 months later you still haven't gotten that something that you've paid for. You're more than allowed to bitch about that. Like the fact that this co-op thing took forever to come out, forever and a day to even come out.
Sure.
Yeah, you can be angry. But to say, "Oh, I'm not gonna pay for your thing because you owe me it," no, 343 and Xbox don't owe you shit. Yeah, they sell you a service, and if you don't want the service, don't buy their service. But don't bitch when the stuff you do get and you don't want to pay for, you want it for free. That's not how this works. It's not. We are a democracy, or not a democracy. Whatever the thing is, free money market. We're not a fucking, you give you whatever the fuck you want type of thing. Yeah. I don't know that didn't make any sense, but
some people are blaming Game Pass, saying that this is, what do they call it, the Game Pass effect. People are expecting things for free. But what I'm also seeing is, and I can't say for sure, a lot of the people that are saying this aren't necessarily fans of Game Pass. They're fans of other things, and they're just taking this as an opportunity to bash something. And I'm like, this is like new content comes out for games every day, like all the time. And nobody else says this stuff about other games. I do not understand why they're saying it about this one. Like you said, if you want to bitch about why did it take so fucking long to get the co-op, or if you want to bitch about other things about this game and its shortcomings, or what you thought about it, fine, go ahead. That's, free reign. But this is coming out. If you don't like the co-op, just say I don't fucking like it. But to sit here and bitch about it because you don't get it for free because you don't own the goddamn thing it came with, you're fucking stupid. I can't go on with it. This is just fucking stupid. It is so dumb. That is one of the literally dumbest takes ever. This is why I'm not a commentary channel, because I can't do this. I can't sit here and look at the dumbass shit people say online and not and articulate it and sit there and, because it's just so fucking stupid. That's all I can say is you're a fucking idiot. And I don't see how anybody could disagree with that. I mean, obviously people do, but I have seen more people than not have been saying, "Hey, this is a shit take. You're stupid." But a lot of people, there are still a group of people that are saying that, yeah, this is ridiculous that I'm having to pay this. Fuck you. Anyway, like I said, quick topic. I was pretty sure I wasn't crazy, but I was curious to see.
Oh no, you're crazy. It just about this. Not.
Not crazy about this though. Alrighty, so from there, ladies and jelly spoons, we got before we jump into our main event and get out of here. Excuse me. Did want to say, like I haven't really plugged any of the other stuff, but check out my Patreon if you're interested in that kind of thing. All this stuff, there's links in the description. If you're interested in helping out the channel in different ways, any little bit helps. Also, check out my channel and Nick's channel. Hit that red subscribe button on either of them. Hit like on this video if you could. Watch our content. Much appreciated. Any suggestions you guys have of things you want to see on this show moving forward? It's always a work in progress, so throw that stuff down in the comments. Be happy to hear that. I think that's... I have Teespring, still not working on that much, but it's there if you're interested in that stuff. Somebody had asked about it. And check out my Twitch channel. Trying to grow that some more. Check out my... I have a gaming channel too. It's not doing so great, but I still put stuff on there. And yeah. So anyway, let's move on to the main thing of the show, if you will. That this thing we've both seen, so we can both comment on it more. I'm happy to see. I actually saw this after Nick, so of course we are going to talk about Miss Marvel. You really can't see her much there; she's behind us. But the Miss Marvel Disney Plus show, and what our thoughts on it were as a whole. We're not going to do a recap of it or anything. We're just going to talk about some of the things we liked, some of the things we didn't, and the show, and just whatever. We're going to give a quick... I'm not going to hold back spoilers here, so if you haven't seen it and you really just... no spoilers. I don't feel like there's there's not really much like Resident Evil. There's not a ton to spoil within the show because there's nothing really shocking that happened. I didn't think, but we will. I'm not gonna not say spoilers. How much we spoil, I don't know. But anywho, I'm gonna let Nick go first this time because I talk too much and let him get some of the stuff out of the way. And Nick can tell us just your overall thoughts and what you thought of just this Miss Marvel. Tell us about Miss Marvel, there, Nick.
Well, Miss Marvel was a show I was not looking forward to at all. It looked stupid. It looked dumb. It looked like a bad time at the theater, or bad time at the theater, bad time on TV. It didn't look like something I wanted to watch. But everybody's, the thing about Marvel, Disney movie or shows and movies is they seem to overhype them and get overexcited and over positive about these things. So I'm like, I kept hearing how good this show was, at least the first two episodes. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. The last crap you guys recommended was crap, and so on and so forth. Excuse me. And so I went and watched the first episode, and outside of a few things, the pacing and stuff like that, I thought this was a fantastic show. I actually think this is probably maybe one of the best things in the Phase 4, maybe Disney MCU.
Yeah.
I think the young girl who plays Kamala is fantastic. I think her family is fantastic. I actually made a tweet when I first watched the first two episodes. I'm like, this is a series that if you took all the Marvel crap out and just made it a family, teen comedy drama, stuff like that, it would have worked. It really would have. You didn't even need any of the Marvel stuff to make this a very compelling show because the family is dynamic and entertaining and fun to watch. You get to learn about their history. You get to learn, a little bit about the culture and stuff like that. And I just thought it was great. And then they add some Marvel stuff in there. Captain Marvel, as we'll both agree, is a terrible movie. I thought it was an awful piece of crap movie. Brie Larson's fine, but they did have 9 Inch Nails in it. But I didn't expect to like this show after everything we've seen with like Falcon the Winter Soldier and Loki and
you didn't like
whatever
Loki?
crap is. It was fine. Like I liked it. I enjoyed it more than other ones. But I find like WandaVision much better than Loki.
Really?
Loki kind of, to me personally, Loki didn't end very strong. But I do like Jonathan Majors though, so it was definitely better. But I mean, you had like Moon Knight, which started out really strong and then just kind of fizzled out. And I was expecting that to happen here, and made it all the way to the end with the big reveal and everything about it. And I'm like, this is awesome. I freaking love this. And I think it's just because of family. This doesn't, like I said, doesn't even need to be a Marvel show, just on the characters alone. And I loved it every second of it, except for, like I said, the penultimate episode. It made you feel like they need like 6 more episodes, but for the most part, I enjoyed it.
Okay. Well, I didn't.
Yeah, I was kind of seeing that coming.
We haven't discussed this amongst ourselves. Well, I think we had talked about it when you first saw it, before you finished it, and then like how you felt about it in the middle. I hadn't heard your thoughts from the from the beginning, or from for the ending.
Yeah.
So my thoughts are a little different in some areas. As far as like the Marvel Disney Plus shows go, I saw Falcon Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and I saw Falcon Winter Soldier first. I did not like that show.
No, that show sucks.
Crap. It was a muddled mess, and it was very preachy, and I didn't like it. WandaVision I thought was a great idea. It had some really cool parts to it, but I thought it tripped up some too. It was way too long, and the end just turned into Marvel. But it was fine. It was entertaining. It was fine. I was cool with it. Loki I really enjoyed. I did. I really liked Loki. I thought Loki was great. I didn't see What If. I didn't see Moon Knight. I didn't see the Hawkeye.
Oh yeah, What If was good.
Yeah, I heard that. I have heard that What If was good, but it's more of an anthology kind of like short what ifs. So that didn't. I'll probably see that at some point. I heard that Hawkeye and Moon Knight both suffered from a similar thing where it was just kind of start strong and then just kind of didn't know where they were going. It's like they had an idea, but they didn't flesh that idea out. So
exactly.
when it came to this one, I was honestly not looking forward to this show. I don't really know a lot about Miss Marvel character except that she has stretchy hands like Mr. Fantastic. And I decided to give it a shot, though. And honestly, from the beginning, I heard a lot of stuff about this show leading up to it, or people, what they were doing with it and all that, and from all different areas. And I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. The first couple of episodes, I watched it week by week, so I didn't binge it. Some of it's a little foggy, but I remember the first couple of episodes, it didn't seem like a lot was happening, and it seemed like they were just focusing on the characters, which is fine. Actually, that's sometimes we're all like, oh, they didn't like Resident Evil. They didn't focus on the characters or give us anything, and now I'm kind of saying all they did was focus on the characters. I wish a little bit more had happened, because by the time like episode 3, I think I was still kind of like, okay, what's happening on this show? Like, I get these characters, I like some of the characters, the world and all that, but I don't really see where the show's going. What's the overarching story? And we do eventually get that. I really liked in the earlier episodes, which this is a double-edged sword. I liked the style and how it like had like the writing all over the place, and it just showed how she's like all over the place and like having almost like ADHD, and like you saw like her imagination and all that. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a really cool touch, and I enjoyed that. I like that. Unfortunately, as the show goes on, at some point, they just kind of stop doing that. It doesn't do it anymore. It's I don't know why they made that choice, because they went hard on it in the first couple episodes, and then it just stops. It turns into Marvel, and that's a problem I think we find with a lot of Marvel properties, especially these shows. They start out with these really good ideas and these really neat things. They go hard on them, and then they're like, oh yeah, we're Marvel though, let's do Marvel. And they start doing Marvel, and that's the part of the show that I didn't find as interesting. When it went from being this interesting new take in this show, and then it turned into Marvel. The Marvel part, I was like, I'm not as interested in this. Now, I will agree with you. The young lady that played Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel herself, the character, her name is Iman Vellani. I'm probably butchering that, but whatever. She was great. I really enjoyed her. I thought she was a really good. I liked her character. I bought into her character. Her little friend Bruno, played by Matt Lintz, he was okay. He was fine. He's Peter Parker, which actually I heard that he was actually in the running to play Peter Parker in the new Spider-Man at some point, but lost out to Tom Holland. But he was just a Peter Parker character. But he, I liked him. He was fine. Everybody else, her family as a whole, I enjoyed just the family. I'm not going to say one character in particular did it for me, just her family, her mom and dad and brother and all that. I enjoyed their interactions there. All the other characters were not as memorable, in my opinion. None of them were outright terrible, but they were just kind of there. But you know what? Your main character is great. That's a good start. So I really did enjoy her, and I was really enjoying the style of the show, even though I wasn't sure where it was going. Unfortunately, when we started finding out where it was going, that's when that unique style that I liked about the show and the things I was really into stopped. And it just, Marvel started to Marvel. Now, that being said, when we get to the Marvel parts of the show, yeah, I didn't find that as interesting. I mean, once again, the show was never outright bad. I was never like, this is terrible. But I was never just blown away either. I was just kind of like, things are happening. They go over to India. They do some stuff there. And I don't know. It just, there's never, until like the last episode, which we talked about this with Resident Evil, nothing big and epic was really happening. And some people might say, well, it's a TV show. Yeah, but these TV shows are more like the movies at this point. I was never blown away. I mean, there were actually at least 2 episodes there in the middle. I was just kind of tuning out as there were. I was catching what was happening, but it was just like nothing was really had me on the edge of my seat. I was just kind of like, One of them where like they're in India and they're running around a lot with these daggers characters and all that, and it was just shit happening. Stuff was happening, and I was just like, okay, it's fine. I'm not bored, but I'm just kind of not very engaged either. But at least it wasn't terrible.
Well, I mean, that's good. I guess I just was not expecting anything out of it. I think that's why I enjoyed it so much. The the thing about these Marvel shows, and the thing that has been a problem is they they take what's already happened, especially with Captain Winter Soldier and Falcon or whatever, and it just
He is
there
Captain
doesn't
America
feel to
now,
be.
I
Yeah,
guess.
true. Yeah. I guess I do complain about the fact that nothing really connects and things do seem to be meandering, but I don't know. I just think the fact that everything felt personal and like close to everyone, and it was interesting to see that they're accepting of who their daughter is and just everything. It feels like she can do what she needs to do, and it felt so heartwarming. I guess
Oh
is
yeah,
the easiest thing to put.
the family part
It
of
was
it
it was
I really
weird.
liked. I
Yeah.
thought that was great. Like their
Um.
interactions, they felt like a family. They felt like I
Yeah.
bought them as a family, and I agree. In the end, when she finally let them know who she was, or that she was Miss Marvel or the Nightlight, whatever they called her, I thought it was great. Like the mom brought her the costume and all that, and that was cool. I really enjoyed the family dynamic of it all. It was just I don't know and that's what kept it afloat for me too, because the show does kind of lean a lot of the time heavy into the family, and I think that was a good idea, because without that, the
Mhm.
other stuff, the Marvel stuff happening in it, just wasn't that interesting to me. It kind of took this
Um.
idea of these interdimensional Jinn characters and did nothing with it, and just I don't know. One of them, I don't know why the son who was a good guy becomes bad. Did the mom like inhabit him or something? I don't know exactly what happened there in the end. She
Yeah, I
died.
don't know about that.
The mom ends and dies by the end of the show, or like closer to the end, and like all of a sudden it shows the son who's been helping them and a good guy, and his eyes glow, and he's like, oh, right when she dies, like she enters him, but she's not him. He's still him, but he's got these crazy powers
Yeah.
now that he's hurting people, and I don't know. They didn't explain that very well. He just got powers. Then I will say on that note, when all that was happening, because in the end of the show, they start to try and protect his character, and they're trying to get him out of the country, and the government is coming for him, and she is trying to protect him, and then he starts doing bad things like hurting people, and she recognizes that's not okay. And there's this moment where she's sitting there and you could tell she's trying to decide, what do I need to do? Do I need to continue to try and protect this person, or do I need to stand up against him because what he's doing is not cool? And it was a fairly quick thing, but I really liked how the show
Yeah.
conveyed that turmoil within her, and she was like trying to figure out what I do here, and she makes the choice to help. They did a really good job there. I mean, there was little moments like that throughout the show that I was like, that was well done. That was really good. Nothing was said. There was no. Usually these things are like someone will say it like, oh no, he's turning bad. We've been helping him, but now we must not help him and help the others because he's doing bad things or something. No, they didn't do any of that. It was just they let us see it and make our own judgments there. And I thought that was really good how they did that. But
Yeah.
in the end of it, she does get what do you think about her powers, by the way?
I mean, the powers or whatever. I don't. When it comes to the idea of her having like crystal powers or whatever, it's weird because it's different from the comic book. But I think
Very different.
the bigger thing, yeah, it is what it is. They did it for a reason. They're fine. Like I said, they don't do anything special, but I think it's the big reveal at the end of the episode that kind of is an interesting observation and idea
Yeah.
of where they want to go forward with with the MCU. But I mean, I've seen like the powers are just
Well, I kind of
another
I get where
thing.
people were coming from, because it's kind of like, what if they had Iron Man and he all of a sudden has Superman powers? He doesn't have the suit anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you took a character, you took the name, but what made them that character, their power, their thing, you just don't have anymore. So I get where people are coming from. I don't follow this character in comic book form or any other form. I was aware of her mainly because of the game, the terrible game that came out a year or two ago. But her powers are she's stretchy. She can stretch all over the place.
Yeah.
It makes her hands real big and like punches people, like kind of like Mr. Fantastic.
Like stretch arm girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she stretches all over the place. And this one, she does not do that. She has like this. She manifests like this crystal stuff. And in the end of the last episode, she does manifest like big, not stretchy. It's just big hands, which is what her character is known for. Like these big crystal hands that go over hers, and she fights somebody. So it's kind of like a homage to those original powers. But I'm like, why adapt this character if you're not going to adapt the thing that makes them that character? I guess some people could say it's, I don't know, and some people say, well, it's because they were wanting to adapt, the character's background, and that she's not, your atypical. I'm not going to get into all that, but and maybe, I don't know. I just don't see why they would even change that unless they felt as if it would look goofy. Which,
I mean,
a stretchy
her character's
person would.
also named, her character's also named Miss Marvel, and they have a Captain Marvel, so it's like,
Kind of confusing.
yeah. But like I said, the biggest thing about this is the introduce. I don't know if you were going to talk about it, but the introduction to a certain idea that has been long wanted to be put into the MCU.
Oh yeah. Well, let's just jump into that. Before we get there, we'll do that afterwards. But yeah, the what Nick's alluding to is in the end of the last episode, after all the bad guys are defeated and all that, and she is talking to Bruno, I think, her friend, who's like the science nerd. He ran some test or whatever, and he says that there's something different about you, obviously. It's not, it goes beyond the rest of your family. And he says there's some type of mutation. And then in the background you hear the old X-Men music, which they're really going hard into that because they did the same thing with.
And they're creating they're like bringing back like the animated '97 series. They're like doing more episodes or something.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. But
yeah.
All right, so yeah, this was the official introduction of mutants.
No Ralph Boner in this one.
Yeah, of mutants into the MCU. I did see a funny byline. I didn't read the article, but there was a funny thing that showed up on the homepage that said why, or it said people are asking why Marvel decided to debut their big debut of mutants in the MCU being a show nobody's watching. And I was like, damn, that's rough. But
yeah.
And I do kind of get that from this show. A lot of people aren't talking about it. And I mean, I get why. Because like I said, I mean, it's got some interesting stuff to it, but there are just some kind of, it's not outright boring, it's not outright bad, it's just kind of vanilla Marvel for at least the middle portion. And I don't know, the thing that really differentiated it from the other ones for me was that character and style it had in the beginning, and you get a little bit of it in the end. And I just wish they had not let go of that. The vanilla part of it I probably could have dealt with if they had just kept on with that overall style. I think it would have made the whole thing better. Because she does a great job throughout, and I really enjoyed her character. But it's like she's kind of, the show is overcome. For me, it was overcome by the vanilla-ness of it all. It's worth watching. I mean, if you like the Marvel shows, the Marvel movies and all that, it's worth giving a watch. But I wouldn't like run out and just like, you've got to see this. I think Loki was a show you got to see. I really enjoyed that. It had lots of interesting things going on. This one's just kind of like, if you ain't got nothing else to do, check it out on streaming one day. The whole mutant thing in the end. Oh yeah, and what the fuck was the thing with Brie Larson shows up in the end, by the way?
Yeah.
Let's just throw that out there. Because after the whole mutant thing is said and she goes, okay, whatever. She's sitting in her room and her little bangle that gives her powers starts to tingle, and she's like sucked into her closet and pops back out, and it's Captain Marvel, Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Like looking around the room, and I couldn't figure out whether that was supposed to be her in that body or that was just Captain Marvel. They like switch places, and Captain Marvel's looking around like, "Where the fuck am I?" Or if that was her, and she's like, "Who? Why am I in this body?" I couldn't tell. Maybe you might have a better idea.
From what I've heard, is that bangle has something to do with the Kree, I think Kree or Skrulls, a tech from them.
Well, yeah,
And apparently it's supposed
when
to.
they found it in one of the early episodes, it was on the arm of an alien. When they,
Yeah.
like, however long ago they found it in like rubble or something like that. I don't know.
But apparently it allowed them to like teleport each other. So she went wherever Captain Marvel was, and she and Captain Marvel came back to her house and stuff like that. And it's leading into the Marvels movie and the Secret Wars, Secret Invasion. Yeah, Secret Invasion. That's going to be a series here next year or something like that. So it's like that and the Ten Rings are all connected apparently. With those, that's why it's doing what it's doing. But yeah, she gets like flip flopped. So she's not inhabiting Captain Marvel's body or anything.
So that was Captain Marvel. That wasn't her.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I guess cool. Whatever. She pops in there, and I mean, I know that the Marvels it's a movie, right? Not a show?
Yeah. The Marvels is the movie. Yeah.
The Marvels movie, because they canceled. Well, they actually turned the Captain Marvel 2 into the Marvels because the backlash of Captain. Well, we presume the backlash of Captain Marvel. So I guess there'll be more of them now. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I would be interested. Whatever that Marvels movie is, now that Kamala will be there, and I did like this character. Or it was the actress's portrayal of this character is what really did it for me. But I don't see that interesting style they had in this show, at least in the first few episodes, going over to this Marvels movie. That's unfortunate because I really like that. I really thought that was cool. And each episode would kind of end with like that look in the credits, sorta, but it just never was. It stopped being in the episodes, and I just that's what killed it for. I just wish they had kept that in there. But for me, I think it's worth it when you get a chance. It's just don't run out. You ain't gotta. It's not like holy shit, this is the greatest show ever. It's entertaining enough if you're doing something or if you just ain't got nothing to watch or you want something to watch in the background. Her performance was really good. I like the aesthetic of it early on, and there's some interesting stuff that happens at the very end of the show. What would you? I mean, you kind of said yours. I mean, I think you liked it more than I did, and that's cool. I mean, if you go by Nick, he's gonna say go check it out right now. I don't know. Would you say that it's something that people should rush out and check out now?
I think if you like good teen comedy drama type of situational series, yeah, absolutely. Marvel, I think it's one of the better shows. So I mean, yeah, definitely check it out. But like I said, it's more, focus on the families when it truly inspires and works. So yeah, I recommend it.
Okay, well, you heard it here first. If you line up with Nick's sensibilities a bit more, I'd say go check it out quickly. If it's mine, yeah, you get time. You can wait. But both of us agree that it's good. It's better than Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, definitely on that. So
I haven't seen the past few, so I can't speak to those. But it's better than that. But I like Loki more. I like Loki more than this one. But okay, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is that's Miss Marvel, and all the other stuff we talked about, and that's more or less the end of the show. I do want to say that all the other things that I had mentioned, I won't mention them again. Check all that stuff out, all my socials and all that. And check out Nick's as well. I'll let him tell you what those are in a second. No trailer reaction this week, like I said, but I had hoped to do Halloween because I had heard Halloween Ends. The trailer came out yesterday, or was going to come out yesterday.
July
but it's actually
20th.
Next week. That's next Friday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was off.
No, I think it's Wednesday, actually.
Oh, is it okay? Hey.
Yeah.
I have a show on
There you go.
Wednesday, so you may see that if it comes out Wednesday, I will do that. We'll have a trailer reaction of sorts on that. But yeah, check out all that. For now, I know I had talked about last Wednesday that the Wednesday night streams may not be every single Wednesday anymore, but they will. I will still be streaming at least once a week. This Wednesday I will still be streaming, so that hasn't come to an end yet. I'll let everybody know when that comes to an end, and I start changing the days around. But this week I will be doing the Twilight Zone game, which we talked about last Wednesday. I'll be doing that this Wednesday. It is an AR or a mixed reality game, so it's one of those games where I can actually show myself in the game playing it, and as long as I can get that to work with my Quest, which I have never done that, but it shouldn't be that different, I will be playing that mixed reality game, streaming that Wednesday evening, unless something happens. I'll be playing the game either way. So come check out some Twilight Zone VR. New game just came out. I have a PS3 I just recently bought right here. It's a pain in the dick to stream out because of copyright stuff, but I think I have a fix for that hopefully I'll have tomorrow, so I might be doing some of that at some point, because I've never owned a PS3, so I have one. I just can't let you guys see it, or the gameplay as of now, but I think I got a fix coming. Beyond that, yeah, that's it, guys. Next show will be next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, just like this past week. I don't know exactly, besides possibly Halloween Ends, what all will be on that show. Next Saturday, I'm hoping to have Triv from Trivial Theater on, and we're going to talk about an assortment of stuff, but also an older movie that maybe slipped under your radar. And yeah, that's it. Check out my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel, my gaming streams, my TikTok. There's one of those. Patreon, like and subscribe, Teespring, all that shit that you're supposed to do. And then also check out Nick's stuff. Nick, tell us about your stuff. What you got going on?
Yeah, as you can find me at Movie Emporium. That's where my YouTube channel is at. It's also Twitter and Facebook and all that good stuff. Been right now, because I was sick, I don't have as much content posting this week, but I do have Westworld season 4 episode 4 posting on Sunday, and then an actual review posting on Monday. We also skipped a week for Fifth Dimension, just to let you guys aware, so be aware that. Oh no, that's fine. No, but anyways, yeah, we skipped a week just because I was sick, and we just kind of things mixed around. So we'll be back in a couple weeks on that one. But yeah, Movie Emporium, that's where I'm at.
That is where he is at, and that is where you guys should check him out. Also, I did want to say I will have. I've been working on this show so much this past week, and I will continue to work on it. But I haven't. I was supposed to do a review of a movie. I just didn't have a chance. I will definitely. I may still do that, but I will definitely be having a review. I believe it's this coming week. Nope, the new Jordan Peele movie is coming out. I will be going to see that, so I will have a review of that coming. Whether it'll be on this show, on one of those showings, or just standalone, I don't know, but it's coming. An official review, and I hope to at least have one or two other. There's some movies I've seen. I just got to get a chance to sit down and record the videos while also juggling all this stuff and trying to get all this squared away for you guys so it goes a bit smoother each week. Alrighty, so anyway, I'm going to stop talking because I will keep doing that. And we did go longer than I wanted to, but not as long as last time. So I achieved a bit of my goal. I do plan on getting these shows down to maybe a little bit over an hour, depending on how much content we have. So. Yay for me, won that. So anywho, we'll see Nick again this coming Wednesday. Yeah, we will. And then after that, we should be seeing him a lot as well. I appreciate you guys all hanging out. Sorry I didn't get to check out the chat as much. I saw Nick. Thank you, Nick, for being in the chat and interacting with people. All you guys that showed up, Antonio, Fright Films, Trev, Ryan, I just haven't been able to look. I know I saw you guys, and there's probably some other people.
And they all agreed Gizmo would beat up Baby Yoda. So
fuck yeah, that's
we all
what
came
I'm
to
talking
that
about.
conclusion.
Hells yeah, yes, it is. I'm on board with that, because as much as I like Baby Yoda, that's my dog. So anyway,
that's right.
Yeah, that's it, guys. I appreciate you guys all hanging out for the show this week, and or this weekend. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys all Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening for my live gaming stream. Bye.